You know in the movie The Matrix where Neo has a bald head?
Yeah.
And then when he goes back into the Matrix, he has hair. And they ask, why do you have hair inside the Matrix? And he said, because that's your self-projection. That's how you see yourself and imagine yourself inside of the Matrix.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course.
I think that everybody should have a self-projection. You have to imagine how you see yourself. And if you see yourself as a superhero and an extremely disciplined and hardworking person who achieves everything he's ever wanted in life and does amazing things, you have to understand that you're not going to be able to do that on drugs. So you need to have a mental projection in your mind of who you think you can be and who you want to be. A lot of this is about your self-image. I don't know how you took drugs without feeling deep shame. You should have drunk that cup and instantly felt terrible, not because of what the narcotic did to you, because of who you were acting like. Where's your duty? Where's your shame? Where's your self-inflicting morality? Where's your pride? You just sat there and just took the drugs and didn't give a fuck. So that's the problem with all of this shit, and it's the problem for all these addicts. If you want to wake up and say, what kind of man am I? Am I a drug addict? Well, then go be a drug addict. What kind of man am I? Am I a man who has control of his life and control of his mind? Then I'm not a drug addict. You have to make a decision. I'm struggling with something, I'm going to work less. Does that make sense to you? How's that going to fix anything?
It won't
At
fix
least
anything.
now, as I decipher the puzzle, because that's what life is, it's a puzzle, and as I decipher the lesson that has been bestowed upon me by God, and as I repair my mentality and become a more content individual, or perhaps a more stable individual like I was before, at least in the meantime, I've done a whole bunch of work. At least I've gotten bigger, stronger, faster, richer. What else am I going to do? Sit around and mope like a dummy? The answer is always hard work. Anyone who's watching this, no matter what problem you're facing in your life, there's only one answer: work. Work harder. The whole world doesn't give a fuck if men are happy or not. Nobody cares about men being happy. We talk about women being happy. We want children to be happy. If you look at a full-grown man on Christmas morning, he's smiling because his wife is smiling. He's smiling because his children are smiling. Nobody even buys him anything. What do they buy the dad? Socks? Nobody cares about men being happy. So why do you as a man care about you being happy? That's how you're going to fall into these traps. I'm a very content person. I live a fantastic life. I'm not miserable or depressed. I'm not sad ever. But I don't wake up and go, I want to be happy today. No, sir. I wake up and say, okay, things must be done. And those things will be completed regardless of how I feel. Regardless of how I feel. You can lock me in a dungeon for an unknown amount of time in Romania, and I will still complete as many push-ups as I can possibly do in the dark by myself. What else am I going to do? Sit there and be sad? Happy or sad? The push-ups must be done. It's called duty. It's called honor. It's called pride. If you had these things, you would never do dumb shit in the first place. So I'm asking you why you don't have them. You have a massive audience, Adin, of children and people all around the world who look up to you and watch you every single day. You could be a genuine force for good in the world. Choosing happy can be just as destructive also, because if your only desire is to be happy regardless, no matter what it takes, that's when you're going to eat the cake, because the cake will make you happy. That's when you're going to take the drugs. Drugs will make you happy. Alcohol will make you happy. Hedonism makes you happy. Going to the club makes you happy. It's all dumb shit. If you were to choose proud, or if you were to choose courageous, if you were to choose a different emotion or a different feeling inside, you would have no interest in these things. So I don't wake up and think, how do I feel happy? I don't wake up and say, will this drug make me happy? I have no interest in being happy. I wake up and say, how can I be proud of myself? What can I achieve that makes me proud of myself? How can I do things that make other people respect me and are proud of me? Pressure makes diamonds. I train every single day. And it doesn't matter how I feel. So, in fact, I would actually argue that the number one way to deal with most of life's problems is always the same thing. You were saying that people deal with things in many different ways. That is true. But in my experience of life, there's only one way to deal with anything. It doesn't matter if you're heartbroken. It doesn't matter if you're sad. Doesn't matter if your bank balance is low. Doesn't matter if you lose a family member. Doesn't matter if whatever negative things can happen to you. Doesn't matter if you go to jail. Doesn't matter what it is. The answer to everything is always the same. Do you know what that answer is?
What is the answer?
Hard work. All about my life experiences and the lessons I've learned and how to be better people. And I think that that makes the world a better place. And I do truly believe that in the end, a lot of people will be rewarded for doing the right thing. Not just me, everybody who listens to me.